Hello, I am Martin Fencka and welcome to the first episode of my new Battle Brothers series. So we ended the previous episode a few days ago, and if you watched that series, at the end of that series, you know that this time I wanted to add a little bit more. So we're gonna be playing with the mod called Legends. I'll leave a link in the description where you can check the mod and download it if you want to try it as well. But I should warn you right away, that mod is insane. Like, it adds so much to the game that it took me like 3 days to start even like grasping what's actually going on. And also the increase in difficulty is pretty ridiculous. It adds another difficulty level. Of course, I just have to play on the highest difficulty. I just can't not play on any other than the highest difficulty. And damn, I've been testing it for the last few days, and constantly I've been having my ass handed to me. It's definitely finally a challenge, and I love it. So I promised that I would first do like an introduction of the mod before we really start playing. We'll go through all the settings and also discuss, well, I wanted to discuss which background we're gonna use. We're not gonna do that anymore. We're just gonna pick the strongest background and not even talk about that, because as I said, the difficulty is like completely different level. But I would like some maybe suggestions for the name of the company. So I'll go through all the settings, show you some of the most important changes, and then I'm actually gonna like re-roll the start off camera, prepare a decent start, because there are now a lot more options. You'll see what I mean when we get into the game. And it's quite important that we don't get some garbage combinations. For example, what happened to me is that I rolled a starting character that is supposed to be an archer. Therefore, you have guaranteed stars in range, skill, range, defense, and initiative, I think. But I didn't get a single perk to ranged weapons. So I want to avoid these things that really could screw you over in the transition from early to mid game. But well, we'll get to that. Let's start with the new campaign. We'll check all the settings, everything, and then we'll talk a bit about the mechanics. So when we click new campaign, as you can see, there are some new backgrounds. And considering the difficulty of the game on the highest difficulty, I will always be talking about the highest difficulty. Some of these options are just insane. You have, for example, a beggar challenge. A lowly unskilled beggar, you witnessed something in an alley and now a noble house wants you dead. This is a challenge run only. All noble houses hate you. If you die, it ends, and can never hire anyone that isn't a low-born peasant. Holy crap, are you kidding me? We also have, we of course have all the backgrounds, or not backgrounds, origins. Origins from the original Battle Brothers. I will just show you the description of every single one. So if you want, you can pause the video always and just read what's the background about. But right away, I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna be playing a new company, the most classic start there is. There are a couple of reasons. Most importantly, we are getting decent-ish starting characters with at least some money to start with, and also the size of our roster goes all the way to 27. There are some stronger starting setups, but then you are mostly like limited by the final size of your roster. And I want this series to go for quite long, probably until the new expansion for Battle Brothers is released, which should be in a couple of months. So I want to always have like a room to grow, have enough, like as I said, enough slots in the company, goes all the way to 27. Try different builds. There is a lot more variety in this mod that you can try, and you are a little bit like limited when it comes to your builds, to like which perks you get. You'll see when we get into the game, because not every character has access to all perks, so the variety is even enforced by the mechanics. So a new company, that's what we're gonna be doing. Then you have adventuring party. This seems like it's very similar to new company, except it's stronger by the description. But here you are limited by the final size of your company, which is for some reason limited to 6, I think. So yeah, definitely don't want to go with that. Then we have assassin, band of poachers. I think band of poachers was in the original. Beast slayers, not sure about that one. If it was in the original or not. We know the beggar challenge, I just checked that. Berserker, if you want to play as Vikings. Then you have Crusader. Cultists are in the original, I think. Deserters are also in the original, I think. Legion, I think, is specific to the mod. Then you have Lone Wolf, which is in the original. Noble, Northern Raiders, Peasant Militia we played last time. Then you have Random Party, Random Solo or Trio. You can go Ranger, Rebuilding Company, Seer. I think from here downwards everything is new. Seer, Sisterhood, Trading Caravan, and Warlock. There is a little bit of magic. I didn't get to magic yet. I didn't get far enough in the game to test it, but it seems that there is some magic, so I like that. I hope we will have the option to test it at some point. So as I said, we'll be playing with a new company, the most like normal origin. Then here, if you have any suggestions for the name of the company, it would be great, because I just have like no ideas when it comes to these names. If there won't be anything interesting, I'll probably return to the White Company, resurrect that name. I think here I'll be going with the Noble War first, because I always wanted to have a Noble Wars as the first crisis, and in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 series that I made, we always had the Noble War last, which is annoying, because at that point it's completely inconsequential. So I think I'll lock the war manually. We don't want permanent destruction. The seed, I will tell you next time if you want to try the same seed. It's gonna be different than this one. As I said, I'm gonna just re-roll the start. Here I'm just showing you the options that we have and what we're gonna be playing with mostly. Okay, there is a new difficulty added, Legendary. And well, it is difficult. I can tell you that. So what we're gonna be doing, economic difficulty, I'll set it to expert. My problem when I'm playing on camera, when I increase the economic difficulty and starting funds, is that the early game takes way too long. And there's always like a really high risk, especially with this mod, that we will have to restart a couple of times, and it will make the early game even longer. That like most of the series will be just fighting like a bunch of rebel in rags with clubs, and we won't really get anywhere. So I will give myself some room to maneuver, and we'll go with expert economic difficulty. Here it can't be anything other than just legendary. Maybe it's a mistake that I won't be able to handle the game, but I just cannot play with lower combat difficulty. And this adds a lot to the enemies, because, for example, let's say zombies get 9 lives perk. And on zombies, I found out that 9 lives actually procs twice. When the zombie dies for the first time, you have to like hit it to proc 9 lives, then kill it. Then, as all zombies do, it gets resurrected automatically, and then you have to hit it again to proc 9 lives, and then finally kill it. When you have a necromancer, I've never seen that, but I guess when you have a necromancer and the necromancer resurrects the zombie again, then you have to proc 9 lives again. So yeah, zombies are a huge pain in the ass, and like every like mob basically has new perks that make them more annoying. Zombies, on top of this resurrection nonsense, also can poison you. Then you have the most basic brigands have overwhelm and things like that, so it makes the game much more fun. Starting funds, I'm going with high. Here I tried medium. I tried, I don't know, 5 or 6 short test rounds with medium, and it is possible. Just again, I don't want the late game to take that long, and I always felt like I'm missing a little bit to be not comfortable, but to basically to have fun. I always felt with medium like I'm just struggling too much in the early game to have fun. And one thing is having like enough of a challenge in the game, but the other thing is also like enjoy it. So yeah, especially on camera, I think it's pretty important that we don't just get stuck with the most basic things and we keep restarting just because I'm just not good enough with the mod yet. So I will give myself some more money to start with. Iron Man, definitely not. Autosaves off, definitely not. The game is not stable enough. As you can see down here, it's a beta version, so there are some stability issues. I had like 2 crashes, so I definitely don't want to risk not having a save file where I need it or autosave. So I'll skip that, and more options. As you can see, we have options for the map, so we're going for it with the largest map. Here, I can't go with anything like really ridiculous, because then the map just doesn't get generated. So I will stick to the land mass ratio. This is like a ratio between land and water. Water connectivity, I want to set this to 3. I think this affects a little bit how much water there is on the map as well, same as this one. Then snowline, don't want to have that much snow. Even if I go to 95%, 95% means that there is only 5% of the map covered in snow. There is still enough for barbarian camps to spawn in decent enough numbers. So this is fine. Settlements. I'll go with only 24. I experimented with different numbers. I went all the way to like 35. With 35, the map didn't get generated anymore. And there just, when I got with like 32, there just wasn't enough room on the map for like wilderness that would be large enough. There are just too much civilization on the map. It would be good if you want to make money by trading, then go with more cities. But I want to have more wilderness on the map, so I'll go with fewer cities. And with 24 cities, I'll just divide it by 4 factions. It doesn't mean that every faction gets 6 cities, but 3 is a weird number. Usually then 2 factions like start hitting one faction and it gets destroyed. I think with one more faction it adds like more competition basically during the Noble War. Okay, map options. We can start with the map completely hidden, that we can't see anything except the location where we are starting, one city basically. But I don't like this option. I think we are not entering a completely new world, right? The people that are like founding the company lived in the world for a while, so they probably know where the cities should be. There should be something like an option halfway where you, for example, only know settlements from one house, that you didn't get farther than that. But yeah, I test both, like hidden settlements and revealed settlements. The revealed settlements is the classical setting that you have in the original Battle Brothers, and I like that more, so I won't go with this option. Deck out citadels, you can read the description. Don't like that one, but I want to have all trade buildings basically available. I don't want to be like screwed with that. I, for example, don't get a Fletcher, which is probably not gonna happen, but there are some other buildings, and I want to make sure that I have access to everything somewhere, at least in one city. So I'll make sure that this option is available, and show entire map, I don't want that. We want to have the wilderness hidden. So these are the settings for the map, and then we have campaign settings. There is a lot here. So I'll just show you what all these things mean, and I will leave them all turned on. So here, dynamic perks, battle sisters, basic magic, layered armor. This thing is huge. It adds so much variety to the game. Equipment scaling. Not sure about this one, but I'll leave it. Distance scaling. We will be... Should I skip the camp tutorial? Maybe we can read through the camp tutorial. Just for the first series, let's actually go through the tutorial. I didn't read it properly when I was testing things. I just quickly read through, so maybe I missed some important information that we could use. So let's actually go with that. Recruit scaling, once again, can read the description. Bleeds count as skills, pretty self-explanatory, and all crafting recipes unlocked. Why not? I mean, always when I didn't know something about crafting, I just checked the wiki anyway, so may as well have it in the game so that I don't have to look at the third-party source. So these are gonna be the settings, and now we can start. Please don't crash. It happened to me once so far that I wasn't able to get through the screen, and it takes a little bit longer to generate. The map is bigger and there is more on the map than you have in non-modded Battle Brothers. Okay, I think this description should be... Actually, let's just read through it quickly. We won't see it during the next start, I think. You soak in the cool morning air. As the sun slowly rises, so does a new chapter in your life begin. After years of blooding your sword for meager pay, you have saved enough crowns to start your very own mercenary company. With you are Bird of the Blade, Ronda the Merciless, and Arnold, with whom you have fought before side by side in the Shield Wall. You are their commander now, the leader of the Battle Brothers. As you travel the lands, you should hire new men in the villages and cities to fill your ranks. Many who offer their services will have never picked up a weapon before. Maybe they are desperate, maybe they are greedy for quick spoils of war. Most of them will die on the battlefield. Yep, that's definitely true. But do not be discouraged. Such is the mercenary life, and the next village will always have a new man eagerly looking for a new start in life. The lands are dangerous these times. Robbers and pillagers lay in ambush by the roads. Wild beasts roam the dark forest, and orc tribes are restless beyond the boundaries of civilization. There are rumors even of dark magic being at work, the dead rising from their graves and walking again. There is plenty of opportunity to earn good money, whether by taking on contracts you can find in villages and cities all over the land, or by venturing out on your own to explore and raid. Your men look to you to give a command. They live and die for Battle Brothers now. Huzzah! Good, so here we are. The map is a little bit bigger. This one is actually weird. No, it's fine. There is enough wilderness to explore. And as you can see, there is not that much water. You can set it for more, but I want to have as much land as possible for exploring where camps can spawn, so we always have something to fight, even in the late game, if we ever get to that. Okay, what next? What's next? Let's go into the city, and then we check our inventory, shops, and characters. And that's all there's gonna be for this episode. As I said, it's just the first episode, just an introduction of the mod and the most important changes. So we don't have any shops. It's unfortunate. I was hoping I would show you some things in shops, but we can actually travel maybe to a different harbor. But before we do that, let's check just quickly recruits. You will see, or you should be able to see. Come on, don't do this to me. There should be some new backgrounds. There is at least one. We have a fishmonger. That's a new background that wasn't in the original game. Then we have others. Another one. There's washerwoman. And we have a widow, or rather widower. No, it's her. So we have a widow here. And there are more, of course. So there are more backgrounds. There is one important change, that you are not just looking for combat backgrounds anymore, that you also want to have non-combat characters eventually, because camping is now a lot more interactive than it used to be. It's not just sit somewhere, automatically heal and repair. It's like the basic here as well, but then you can buy like additional tents, or how I should call them, to your camp, And you can, for example, make ammo while camping if you assign someone to do so. You can have someone make medicine. You can have, I don't know, your own barbershop in your camp. You can salvage repair tools from damaged items that you find, so that you don't have to buy so many tools and supplies. And to get access to all of this, you need to get these like camp attachments, and also some backgrounds are much better at these tasks than others. So for example, you have, I don't know, an ironmonger who is not that great when like in on the battlefield, but he should be pretty damn good when salvaging tools and supplies. So you can give such character, if you are lucky and he has access to this perk, a perk that's called, I think, pacifist or peaceful or something like that, that he's always content in the reserve. You never put him and consumes like half the rations. He's always sitting in the reserve, giving you more and more tools and supplies, and never gets on the field. So you can already like see that there's a lot more to this mod than there was in the original game. Okay, so these are the backgrounds. Now, when we check characters, I was talking that, or I said that you get a perk if you get lucky. Well, when we check the perk tree, there is a little bit more, and this is created randomly. You can get some basic idea of what you get when you read the description of the background of each character. The important part is, well, actually the whole thing has an aptitude for spears and throwing weapons. So this tells you that most of his combat perks, like weapon-focused perks, will be around spears and throwing weapons. Likes wearing shields and heavy armor, that tells you there will be perks for shields and heavy armor specifically. Prefers fighting bandits and barbarians. You can have perks, I think, that makes you more effective against specific enemies. Is skilled in militia. Not sure what that exactly is. Has practiced a great deal, is brutally harsh, barely breaks a sweat, and is impressively agile. So all of this gives you an idea about perks that you can expect this character to have, and every single person that you can recruit has this kind of description that tells you a little bit what you can expect to find here. So this is generated, you have like a pool of perks for each tier, and then you have a certain amount of perks like drawn randomly for each character. And even the number is not the same. You can have a character that only starts with like 4 tier 1 perks. I think that's a minimum that you can have in the line. And then you can have, I don't know, like 8 tier, what is it, 2, 4, 6, 7, like 8 tier 7 perks. So it's not locked that each line always has the same amount of perks. As you can see, this is different, and I think here this character even has access to more perks overall than this one. And well, there is a hell of a lot. Weapon specialization. Here it seems that we have either a spear specialist or a sling specialist. Slinger spins gives you specifically ranged skill with slings or staves. Then you have Sling Mastery, and on top of that you have Heavy Rocks for extra damage with slings again. And you have this for each weapon. And basically every like perk that was in the original game has been divided into multiple perks, and you can go very, very deep into specialization. You have non-combat perks. Here, Efficient Packing gives you more stash space. Things like that. Here is the peaceful perk that I found, that this character can just become content in the reserve forever, consumes half rations while in the reserve. So you create a perfect, like a complete non-combat character. And also here you can see the thing that I was talking about earlier, that here this guy is supposed to be an archer. When we take this background, you always have like one semi-tank / sergeant, then you have one frontliner, and then you have one character that's supposed to be an archer. But look at that. We don't have access to crossbows, we don't have access to bows, and we don't have access to throwing weapons. On this line, there are always weapon specialization. The only range weapon we have access to are slings, and we don't want our first range character to suck. So that's why I'm gonna like reroll maybe a couple of times to get a decent starting characters. Then the characters that then we're gonna recruit, that's a different story. But at least the first three people, at least two out of the first three people, I want to be like semi-decent and be able to do what they're supposed to do. So here we have like million perks. And what else? Formations. I've never even tested this one. Stables, no idea what this screen means. I just skipped it. I had like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days to test it, and I didn't even get this one. Stash, as you can see, significantly less room right from the start, but you can easily get more. And then one more thing before we make a cut in this episode, I wanted to show you what layered gear means. Let me check if I can find Barbarian unlocked in camp. Yeah, this is the tutorial for the additional camp like additions or like things you can do. This is the Barbarian camp, or Barbarian is the first thing that you unlock every time, and it's free. You don't have to buy anything to have access to Barbarian. But I want to find one city with a decent-ish shop. Can we go north? I was checking if I can sail somewhere from the harbor, but everything on the coast seems to be like small villages. So hopefully the citadel will have at least one. There we go. Armor. Doesn't have that many things actually, but hopefully this will be enough. It's quite expensive, but we should be able to work what we have here, since this is just a test run and we don't have to think about what we're gonna be left with. So every armor, we are talking about chest armor now, has I think like 6 different layers. You can see it here. So you have a base, and then you can attach a couple of things. Then you can see the attachment here. So this is the first layer that can be attached. We can maybe buy 2, we have 1500. So we can buy attachment 1 and attachment 2 here. So this is for the second layer. Then you have a third layer. We don't have anything that we could buy for a third layer. Fourth layer are cloaks. Then fifth layer, can we actually see it in the description directly? Chainmail layer, plate layer, tabard layer, cloak layer, upgrade attachment layer, and then we have a rune layer. And you just create basically your own armor / set of gear by just adding layer after layer after layer. So you can, of course, remove this. So we are starting with an armor that has 55 durability, -6 fatigue. But by adding the basic mail shirt and the leveler armor, we are now at 155 for -20 fatigue. This is actually quite bad, but of course, as you get more money, you get access to a lot more interesting things. And just for you to know, each of these things, every single layer can be unique. So you can create your unique armor out of 5 different or 6 different unique layers, and from the description of the mod there should be hundreds of thousands of different combinations when you're creating your gear. So yeah, you can spend with this a very long time and it's never be done anyway. Okay, so this is probably all that I'm gonna show you. Of course, there is a lot more, like weapons, armor, everything. Here, actually, we are quite unfortunate. It's a lot more common to see unique items in shops. I wanted to check if there is maybe something completely new. There is a glaive that's maybe a new weapon, but there is a lot more. So basically terra incognita, even for veterans of Battle Brothers. As I said, the first time I tried, I felt completely lost, like I'm in a new game. And even to grasp the basics took me a couple of days. So we'll be exploring the game. We'll start playing properly tomorrow in the next episode. So this is just an introduction, as I said. If you have any ideas for the name of the company, let me know in comments. If you want to join the company, let me know in comments. It may take a while again to get everyone into the company, but we have a lot more room to work with, so I should be able to get everyone in. Just be patient. And what else? If you have any questions about the mod, you can ask them in comments. I'll try to answer if I know the answer, or if you have any suggestions, if you have experience with the mod, some basic tips, you can also leave them in comments. But like no cheesy strats or anything like that. If I'm ever gonna use that, I want to discover for myself, because when you just get everything like given for free without like really trying, it takes a lot away from the game, and this mod is really supposed to be a challenge. So no real like spoilers for the let's say exploits. Fine. What is this? Fletching unlocked in camp. Yep, we're gonna read these. They're quite... Actually, I can show you the camp. We can check that as the last thing. There is actually not that much. That's because we have the tutorial, so this will be slowly revealed more and more of these flags. But having these flags is not enough. We need to like upgrade them into tents, then we really get access to these things. Already we have repair tent, we have healing, we have Fletcher, here's the barber. This is just a resting place, and like this whole area will get covered with tents or these flags. You can do a lot in the camp, so yeah, even camping is a lot more fun now. Okay, so that's it for this episode. So I hope that you liked it. I hope that you like the mod, that you're gonna join me for the series. And well, until next time, have a good time. Bye bye.